Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to the channel. So, have you ever been in the situation where your favorite game of all time is just continually getting better and better, then when you think your game has gotten as good as it is ever going to get, someone comes along with something that absolutely blows your mind? For me and my favourite game of all time, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, this is the exact same situation I have been in for probably the last 2 years or so, especially in relation to my coverage of Cemu Emulator and its emulation of this absolutely fantastic game. So what, you may ask, has been added that makes me as excited as I currently am? When we jump across into some gameplay, you're going to see why The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has been given its own fully functional first-person game mode. This mod and mode allows this game to be fully played and fully utilised in first-person mode for the entirety of gameplay. And unlike the Labo VR experience which was presented on the Nintendo Switch recently, a game mode that plays back basically at a resolution of 360p and around 25 frames per second, unlike that, this game mode is fully playable on PC at a locked 60 frames per second at whatever resolution your computer is able to push. In this circumstance, we're taking a look at the game running at 4K 60 frames per second, absolutely perfectly locked at all times. This mode is available for you to use right now. All you have to do to use it is simply download the graphics pack from the description of this video, extract that graphics pack into your Cemu graphics pack folder, and then activate it within the graphics pack window of the emulator itself. This mode itself is super intuitive, as you'll see when we get into combat right here. When I lock onto any enemy, it's going to switch me back into third person mode, allowing you to perform pretty much any combat action or combat maneuver that you would regularly do in the main game. You can also just perform actions in main first person mode. Like you can see, I can simply attack him with my axe, or if there are many enemies, you can simply choose to use this lock on mode where you'll be able to see where each and every one of them is attacking you from. As I said, the mode is super intuitive. It also switches to third person mode when you're swimming, and also switches back into third person mode when you're performing any climbing actions that require stamina. Personally, I'm a massive fan of this third-person switch, as you can see how combat and climbing can be very difficult when performed in first-person mode. On top of this, the swap from first into third person and vice versa is super smooth, meaning it's not a jerky motion, and after playing the game for prolonged periods of time, your eyes are not going to become sore from the different transitions from first to third. As we've seen over the last 2 years or so with Cemu Emulator and Breath of the Wild, we have gotten multiple completely game-changing updates and upgrades. To start things off, we have the ability to upscale to resolutions like you're watching now 4K, then we got the ability to play the game at an almost perfect bug-free 60 frames per second, and now with the addition of all of the visual enhancements we've been able to apply and the addition of this brand new first-person game mode, thanks to all of these talented modders, this game has taken on a life all to itself on this emulator, and obviously indeed also on its native consoles where these mods are also applicable and usable. So who do we have to thank for this awesome first person mode? First of all, I want to give a massive thanks to Melon Speedruns. He provided me with this mod for testing and using in this video. Then we have Silent Verge, who also did a lot of the reverse engineering work to get this mod working and fully functional on the Switch, the Wii U, and also on Cemu Emulator. And lastly, we have to give a massive thank you to Sushi Z for all of their testing of this mod on their Nintendo Switch. Considering that this form of this mod we're going to be using is only in its alpha state, I really can't wait to see what happens when it gets finished and released into its final form. As I've already said guys, you can download it from the description and test it out right now on Cemu, your Wii U and your Switch. So if you find any bugs while using this new mode, please report them in the comments section of this video, and I will be sure to forward any of those issues onto the creators of the mod. As I said guys, there has literally never been a better time to try out and play this game, Breath of the Wild, on a Cemu Emulator. In the past 2 months alone, we have seen dramatic improvements to performance, and considering that a first person mode is definitely much more playable at 60 frames per second, I would highly advise trying out and installing this emulator If you wish to do so, you can simply follow my setup guide, which you'll find down in the description of this video. Since we've also had a performance increasing release titled 1.15.5, I'll also be creating and releasing my up-to-date guide showing you how to get the best possible performance in the next few days, so also keep your eyes peeled on the channel for that. Now, before I go, there is one section of Breath of the Wild that I really want every single one of you to experience in a first-person mode at 4K 60 frames per second. This section is the Lost Woods area of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, if you have never played Breath of the Wild and you've never experienced Lost Woods in a third-person mode, maybe you shouldn't watch this, as it might slightly spoil the experience for you when you get to that stage of the game. However, if you have reached Lost Woods and if you already experienced it, please just sit back and enjoy this absolutely breathtaking section of the game being played back in first person mode at 4K 60. Once again guys, cheers for checking out this video. Remember to like it if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, and as always, subscribe to the channel if you want to see all future videos from me.